Fake hate crime reports pose serious problems for the accused and actual victims. Phony complaints, hate crime hoaxes, and fake allegations pointed at individuals or political groups have divisive effect on communities. These reports are often meant to attract or divert attention, and a large number of them are done by people just because they want sympathy and publicity. Here we have 5 different people who have falsely alleged they were attacked and have either caused enormous resources to be spent on an investigation that shouldn't have happened in the first place or have gained some sort of publicity. But before we start, make sure to subscribe to our channel so you don't miss any of our juicy videos that we upload 3 days a week. Alexander Damien. Damien became one of the most recognizable faces of the 2015 Paris terrorist attack at the Bataclan concert hall that claimed the lives of 130 innocent people and hundreds injured. She told journalists of her narrow escape in many different versions, including 2 of her friends being gunned down right before their appointment with her, and that she later had her arms tattooed as a healing process. 32-year-old Parisian Alexander Damien attended a variety of ceremonies to pay tribute to those that lost their lives and was able to benefit from special survivors funds set up for victims in the aftermath of the terror attack. She also got a 1-week therapeutic stay at a Normandy hotel paid for by the French Association of Terror Victims. But after a member of her support group grew suspicious of her story and doing research on her many interviews, it was clear that most of it was in her head. Inconsistencies were more than enough to trigger an investigation. Turns out Damien was not at all at the bar, and the graphic stories of a dead body falling on top of her claim of a gun wound were all but pure fiction. The scar on her body was later discovered to be from a kitesurfing accident. Damien finally tearfully admitted that she was guilty and that this was the biggest mistake of her life. Court then accused her of being a false victim and sentenced her to 6 months in prison for fraud and perjury. Charlie Rogers. Charlie Rogers told the police that 3 assailants broke into her Lincoln, Nebraska home and attacked her on July 22nd of 2012. And she detailed that the 3 masked men bound her, cut words into her skin, and spray-painted slurs on her wall and setting her house on fire. Rogers, a lesbian and a former University women's basketball star, became a face for anti-gay hate crimes after the alleged attack. It outraged the gay community and hundreds of people participated in rallies outside the Nebraska Capitol building. But now, Rogers is charged with false reporting and disclosing evidence that contradicts her story and points to a faked attack. Police had uncovered gloves, a box cutter, and zip ties at her house and also found out that she purchased all 3 items from a nearby hardware. She claimed the gloves belonged to her attackers, but the police found DNA evidence that matched Miss Rogers and concluded that the cutting on her arms were either self-inflicted or allowed someone to do them. No male DNA were found, no blood on Rogers' bedspread, and the cuttings were too straight to be accomplished during a struggle. Arsalan Tariq Khawaja. Although in this case he didn't put himself as the victim, this 39-year-old Australian created a fake document containing plans that purported to facilitate terrorism attacks, which domestic media reported included threats against then Prime Minister Malcolm Turnbull. This fake document was then used by the police to arrest an innocent man, which resulted in him staying 4 weeks in solitary confinement and being accused of plotting the attacks on his notebook with the hit lists and landmarks carefully selected. Arsalan Khawaja, brother of a famous Australian cricket star, Usman Khawaja, was then charged with forgery, creating what police described as a personal attack on a man who he saw as a rival for the affection of a woman. Police also apologized to the victim of the fake allegation, but insisted that it was set up in planned and calculated manner to grievances over a woman courted by both men. The victim, however, has indicated his plans to seek compensation from authorities for wrongful detention. Please share your thoughts in the comments below if you think the police should compensate the victim, or you disagree and believe authorities were only doing their job of preventing a potential attack. Jessica Nordquist. Jessica, a US national, carried a prolonged campaign of cyberstalking her ex-boyfriend and faking her own kidnap and assault. She sent pictures of herself bound and undressed, claimed to have been raped and abducted by an MI5 agent. After the police figured out her fake story, she was sentenced to 4.5-year sentence, followed by deportation. The 26-year-old created 20 Instagram accounts to harass her victim, as well as sending texts and emails for weeks. She was found guilty of stalking involving serious alarm, distress, malicious communication, and preventing the course of public justice. Jessica, described as deeply manipulative and a compulsive liar, fabricated this story and even had her own family believe she was kidnapped and raped. Her actions diverted police resources from real victims, ultimately led to her conviction. Jessie Smollett. Empire actor Jessie Smollett received an immediate outpouring of public support when he told the world about a hate crime that happened to him which left him with injuries. Now he's being charged with making a fake police report about a racist and homophobic attack. Police say Smollett paid 2 Nigerian men to stage an attack on him. The 2 men, who happen to be brothers, have later confirmed the police report. Police initially identified the brothers as possible suspects in the attack, but were later brought as witnesses to the grand jury. The 36-year-old, who came out as gay in 2015, made a tearful appearance on TV and said he had been forever changed by the alleged assault. This drew outrage and support for him on social media, including high-ranking officials and celebrities. Even though police have now enough evidence of the attack being fake, Smollett has continued to vehemently insist the incident occurred just as he reported. But the lack of a single surveillance camera catching the attack and no witnesses coming forward does not help his case. If Smollett is found guilty, he could face up to 3 years in prison and pay for the cost of the investigation. Please share your thoughts in the comments below on why people would go to this extent to create a story and allege a fake crime has taken place. And if you enjoyed this video, give it a thumbs up, subscribe to our channel, and hit the bell button to be notified whenever we have a new video, and thanks for watching.